What's going on, guys? It's Greg here, aka NYPrepper. Just wanted to give you guys a tip. If you're going to be stockpiling ammunition for SHTF, especially ball ammunition that's considered to be like tactical ammo or military grade ammo, I want to show you guys something that I like to do with my full metal jacket ammo for my 308. And what I have here is some Norma 308 Winchester full metal jacket, and I shoot this out of my AR-10s, and this is basically my standardized SHTF ammo. I've stockpiled quite a bit of this ammo because my guns like it. And in all of my testing, it seems to perform the best. It has really good accuracy, consistency, and penetration. So this is my standard tactical SHTF ammo for my AR-10s. Okay, can't go wrong with Norma ammo. And I recommend that you guys test a variety of different ammunition, whether it's factory loads or hand loads, and standardize your ammo for your SHTF firearms. Okay, that's critical, and I've talked about that. You want to test the accuracy, test the velocity, test the energy, test the penetration, shoot different things and see how it performs, how the bullets perform. Okay, and then once you find the best load, whether it's a hand load or factory load, then you want to standardize that load and stockpile as much of it as you can. But I want to show you guys a tip, and this actually is something that I recently started doing. And so this is just your standard M80 ball ammunition, and it's very similar to the 5.56 ammo that's mil spec. Now, a lot of companies nowadays, they don't put a good crimp on their bullets, okay? And a good crimp is important, especially for a tactical situation or wilderness hunting where you can't afford for your bullet to slide out of the case, okay? If you're in a firefight or you're in some kind of a stressful situation, you don't want your bullet to slide out of the case. And a lot of companies don't crimp the cases around the bullet, okay? They don't crimp the neck, all right? They just seat the bullet and that's it. They don't really apply a good solid crimp. And this is something that I just recently started doing because Norma actually recalled this ammunition that you're looking at here, and I have probably a few thousand rounds of it, okay, because I stockpiled it, and they recalled it because what happened was that they didn't apply any kind of a crimp around this bullet here, and the neck tension was just not enough, and literally the bullets were slipping out. And I noticed that when I was firing these a couple of times, I noticed that if I dropped it on the ground, and let's say I dropped the cartridge and the nose of the bullet would hit the ground or something, I would notice that the bullet would be like not centered in the case, and that told me that they didn't really crimp this bullet here. So what I am going to do now for all of my ammunition, and it's kind of a pain, I'm pulling out all of my ammunition and I'm applying a very good crimp to all of it, okay? So let me show you what I'm talking about. So here we have one that I crimped, and if you look closely at the neck here, okay, it's kind of hard to see, but you can see like a little mark right there. You can see about a millimeter from the top of the neck. You can see where I crimped it, okay? You don't want a very hard crimp. You just want a nice light to moderate crimp. That's all you really need, and that's going to ensure that your bullets stay in the case, which is critical in a tactical situation. And it's also going to ensure consistency, all right? Because if you don't apply a good solid crimp, what's going to happen is as you're shooting through your ammo, let's say you're in a firefight and you have magazines in your firearm, the recoil could loosen up the bullets and they could slide out a little bit from the case, and that's going to affect your accuracy, it's going to affect your velocity. So there you can see that crimp, okay, right there, okay, you can see just a little crimp there. It's nothing crazy because I don't want to deform the bullet, okay, but just a nice light crimp, okay. And I have my Lee single stage press here, okay, and I have the Lee crimp die, and I'm just going through all of my ammo and crimping it one by one. So let me just show you guys how I do this. So I just take one of these uncrimped rounds and I slide it into the shell holder, and I got this crimp die, and the way the crimp die works is that you see there's like these little gaps there, okay. When those gaps close, that means that the crimp has been applied. So I just lower the ram here, all right, just like so, and you see how the ram is raising the round into the crimp die, and I push down on the ram until the gap is closed, okay. You see how there's no longer a gap there in between those little pieces, and then you see how the gap opens up after I raise the ram. And now if we pull this one out and we inspect it to make sure that the crimp is good, all right, you can see we got a nice little crimp there, okay. And these bullets don't have any crimp groove, so that's why I'm not applying too strong of a crimp. I just want a nice light crimp, because if I go too strong, it's going to deform the bullet, okay, because these bullets don't have a crimp groove. All right, so highly recommend you guys do that for all your SHTF ammo. Make sure everything is nicely crimped, okay. You don't want to have inconsistent ammo. You don't want to have a situation where your bullets start to slide out of the cases, and that could be a safety issue. Not only is it a performance issue, but it's a safety issue as well. You could get a jam, you can get a squib load, okay. And if you get a squib load and you're not paying attention because you're in a stressful situation, or you have really good ear pro on and you couldn't tell if it was a squib load, and then you fire another shot, you're going to blow up your barrel and blow up your whole rifle, okay. So you definitely don't want to have that happen. So this is what a properly crimped round looks like, okay. You can see at the top of the neck, you can see that very light crimp, and the bullet's not deformed. The neck doesn't have any splits in it. If you over crimp, you can split the neck a little bit or mar the neck. You can see that it's still smooth. There's no marks from the die or anything besides the crimp itself. There's no split on the neck, and it didn't squeeze too tight around the bullet and deform it, okay. And I want to show you guys one that I over crimped because I was adjusting the die, and this one's a little bit over crimped. If you look at it, you can see that it actually deformed the bullet a little bit. If you look just above where the crimp is, you can see how the bullet got squeezed, and that's not good. And you can also see that the die applied so much force that it started to kind of create these little splits around the neck, okay. All right, if you look close, you can see those little splits in the crimp, okay, and that's not good. This is over crimped. That's what you don't want to do. You don't want to crimp it that tight. And you always want to inspect each crimp, make sure it came out good, okay? And yes, this is time consuming, but you do a little bit at a time, and in my opinion, it's worth it. So Norma actually has on their website a way for you to send in your ammunition and they'll give you a refund, but I'm not going to send in thousands of rounds of ammo because number one, it's a hassle. Number two, I have so much of it, it's probably like 60% of my 308 SHTF ammo. So if I send it all in, you know, that's a problem because then I'm not going to have 60% of my ammo, you know, so I'd have to go and get more ammo, restock, you know, and it's not an easy thing to do now with this ammo shortage. Plus this ammo shoots really good in my rifle, so you know it's something that, you know, I want to avoid having to do that. So but this is something that you guys should do for all of your SHTF ammo. Make sure you have a good crimp, okay, because a lot of companies, they don't put a good crimp on their ammo. And the reason why a lot of companies won't properly crimp the ammunition is because they don't expect you to use it in a heavy duty type situation where you're in a firefight or you're on a wilderness hunt, you know, so they don't bother really crimping their ammunition. They just seat the bullet and that's it, or they apply a very light crimp. So crimp all of your SHTF ammo, go through it, make sure it's crimped. So I wanted to just share this with you guys. That's all I got for now. Take care. May God bless you. May God bless America. And don't forget the 3 Ps. Prepare, practice, and persevere.